Thank you for watching this video on investment companies in South Africa. Who they are, what they invest in, where they invest, and how you can meet or contact them. You're in good hands. My team has substantial multi-decade experience in working with South African investors. I've run an African stock exchange and an investment bank focused on Africa, and my team runs AFSIC Investing in Africa, perhaps Africa's most important investment event. There's a lot of information in this video, but if you really want to get maximum benefit from our experience, whether you're an investor yourself or want to apply for investment, make sure you subscribe to our email list or contact us so that we can send you further details on the next steps. All the links required are below this video in YouTube or on our webpage if you're on one of our websites, dashboards, or portals. Before we start, if you're looking to raise money from an investor in South Africa, I strongly recommend that you join our Africa business community today, absolutely for free. Again, links are in the YouTube video description if you're watching on YouTube, and on our webpage if you're watching on our webpage. Once you've joined our Africa business community, we'll promote you and your investment opportunity in South Africa free of charge. Okay, so let's get going and talk about investment companies in South Africa. First, what type of investors are there that focus on South Africa? Well, actually, that's not a simple answer, as there are quite a number of ways in which you can segment investment companies in South Africa. For instance, by the business sector in which they invest or where they're based. Clearly, a number of investment companies focused on South Africa are based in South Africa, but an even larger number of those who can invest in South Africa are actually based globally, perhaps in the US, Europe, Asia, or elsewhere in Africa. And as mentioned before, we've built up a very extensive list of these investors, so don't forget to join our Africa business community today. However, we need to start somewhere looking at investment companies in South Africa. So let's start looking at investors who make investment decisions wholly on behalf of the company that they work for or themselves. This is against professional investors who are paid to invest on behalf of third parties. In other words, they're investors investing on behalf of other investors. People and companies who invest for their own benefit are often called private investors. They could be successful businessmen or women based in or outside of South Africa who invest directly into companies, shares, or funds in South Africa, looking to make money specifically for themselves. The richest of these may have set up their own investment operations, often called family offices, or they could be companies looking to grow in South Africa. For instance, a large renewable energy company in France may look to buy or invest into renewable energy companies in South Africa or indeed elsewhere in Africa. The key here is that both the companies and individuals in this case are looking for investments solely to benefit themselves. There are literally hundreds of thousands of this type of investor who may be interested in looking into investing in any business project or concept in South Africa. Most will be companies based outside South Africa. But what are the different characteristics between corporates and private investors? Well, in general, corporate investors make larger investments than private investors. However, corporate investors are likely to be highly restricted to investing only into companies in their exact same or similar type of business. Private individual investors will, with only a small number of exceptions, invest smaller amounts than professional or corporate investors. But because they're investing on their own behalf, they've got much greater flexibility in what they can invest into when compared to professional investors who have their hands tied by their mandate restrictions. Private individual investors who put money into very early stage companies in South Africa are known as angel or venture capital investors. And while there are a large number of this type of investor, the difficulty is often finding out who they are and what they're looking for. They could be based outside of South Africa and have a very small network within South Africa, and as a result never get shown investment opportunities that could be of interest to them. To facilitate the flow of information on business and investment opportunities to this type of investor, our team runs a digital Africa business opportunities dashboard, which is designed to bring all sorts of investment opportunities to the forefront of private investors' attention. So look for the links below the video on YouTube or on the webpage, or if you're on one of our websites, so you can add yourself to our Africa business community today free of charge if you want your project to be discovered by this type of investor. Okay, so we talked about the type of investor, including private investors, family offices and companies who are looking to invest into Africa on their own behalf. The other type of investor is a professional investor. Professional investors get paid to invest other people's money. This type of investor is generally regulated in their home country by the National Financial Services Authority and is often referred to as an institutional investor or fund manager. Fund managers based in South Africa, or fund managers who invest in South Africa, could be based in South Africa, elsewhere in Africa, or even outside of Africa. So every country in Africa has got its own local investors who prefer to invest in their own country, perhaps because they know the investment conditions best, or exchange control regulations force them to invest internally. That's the case in South Africa. South Africa's got very well developed local fund management industry. For instance, Old Mutual, Sanlam and Alan Gray are well-known investment companies in South Africa. But there are also a large number of institutional investment companies focused on South Africa that are based in the States, UK, France, Germany, Switzerland and so on. And they can range in size from very small to those managing billions of dollars of investment. And this type of investor is most often severely restricted in what they can invest into, although there are a few like hedge funds that could be unconstrained in what they can invest into at any particular point in time. But generally, there's no point asking a fund manager specialising in investing into agriculture companies to look at the new and upcoming mining company investment opportunity. However much they might like the investment merits, they're just simply not allowed to invest into a mining company because of their mandate restrictions. So as a result, you need to understand the investment mandates or parameters of these investors before you approach them. A common restriction for investment companies in South Africa is based on sector, e.g. some may be restricted to the tech or financial services sector, others to investments that are impact focused, as an example. There are also further restrictions on the type of investments that a investment company in South Africa might make. Some are restricted to investing in shares listed on African stock exchanges. They're known as public equity investors. Others are the opposite and can only invest in companies that are not listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange, for instance, and they're known as private equity investors. Others provide debt finance and some specialise in trade finance. Knowing what each investor focuses on is important in learning which investor might be of greatest assistance to you in raising funding. And as a reminder, we've developed one of the largest networks of investors globally focused on South Africa and elsewhere in Africa, and subscribe to our mailers or become a member of our Africa business community today so we can keep you updated on the various options that we offer for you to connect with these investors. Joining is free, so why not do it while you're watching this video? So we've discussed the difference between private and company investors investing on their own behalf and institutional investors who manage money for a fee from other investors. We've also talked about the fact that some investors focus on specific business sectors and others can only invest in certain types of investment instruments, for example, listed shares. Now it's time to discuss how to meet or connect with them. And that's another area where we can really assist you. We've got a number of digital platforms that are free for you to use where you can upload your investment idea and it can then be reviewed by our large network of investors and parties interested in Africa. And as mentioned before, these are free to use. First, we suggest you follow links as to how to join our Africa business community free. Once you're a member, you'll be able to post your own business and investment opportunities on our Africa Business Opportunities dashboard. For those wanting to meet the Africa investors at a physical event, I highly recommend attending our AFSIC Investing in Africa event, which is perhaps Africa's most important investment event and a great place to connect with investors focused on Africa. So on that note, I'd like to thank you very much for having watched this video to the end. Don't forget, your next step is to become a member of our Africa business community. It's free, so why not do that right now? Thank you.